So many conversations this week I've had have revolved around the team and how the team are feeling. So I went and did some research. Empathy is the ability to understand feelings and emotions of others. Empathy is the ability to understand the feelings and emotions of others. And at this time, as a leader, this is possibly our greatest trait that we need when we're dealing with team members who are going through an incredible emotional journey. Good morning and welcome to JT and the Raw. Good morning, Braxy, Susie, Jace, Lawrence, I saw you there. Who else did I see there? Matt Doherty, Colette, good morning. How is everybody? Hope you are fine and healthy. It's been an interesting week for me. I've had a number of different conversations with business owners, and perhaps the most telling one was the one I've just got off a Zoom call from clients in the US. And one of the interesting things that the owner said is that for the first 3 to 4 weeks, people were kind of okay with this closure, this lockdown, this strange world that we now live in. Unfortunately, now reality is biting. Unfortunately for them, many of them, it's like, wow, what is going on? This is just crazy shit times. Carol, good morning. Shelley, hashtag SKB, good morning. And it's kind of, what is these crazy times? But as a result, us as leaders, we're possibly setting examples of stability, setting examples of being in control. Unfortunately, though, for some of our team members, they might be really struggling from a mental perspective, an emotional perspective, perhaps even a physical perspective. Alyssa over there in New Zealand, hello, how are you? Good to have you on board. Brad up there in Canada, how's it going up there? Hey, I think that's how you say it. So I thought today's show, JT in the Raw, where I chew the thin on business, and after 30 years in business, I've got a few thins to chew. I thought I would chew the thin today on empathy. Empathy, the ability to understand feelings and emotions of others. How well can we walk in the shoes of our team members? And what are they going through at the moment? I found one fascinating conversation with a client this week where he sat down with his team and beautifully articulated why he had been perhaps a little quiet, perhaps a little bit reserved. And he actually shared with his team his personal feelings over the past 30 days. He actually apologized to his team and said, I wasn't really comfortable coming to you and sharing some thoughts and what was going on in my mind and in my life. I wasn't comfortable sharing with that because I wasn't comfortable in my own life, let alone coming and talking to you guys. Now that takes a lot of courage as a leader to be that vulnerable to your team, but also that transparency strengthens the relationship between you and your team. Maddie Fletcher, g'day. Can you please change your profile picture, Maddie? Because every time you pop up, it's you with no shirt, and really you should have a shirt on. So I want us to just consider this whole thing around empathy and what we should be doing when we're leading our teams, getting a good idea around our teams and our thought processes around empathy. And I found, Pam Wheatley, good morning, that in 2018 there was a survey done by an organisation called Business Solver. And the Business Solver survey indicated this: 96% believed that employers should show empathy to their team. 96% believe that employers should show empathy to their team. 92% believe that empathy was an undervalued value within an organisation. 92%. So I guess the question for me is, how do you show some empathy? How do you show some empathy? Here are 4 tips to help build empathy in yourself. 4 tips to help build empathy within yourself. Firstly, we need to be quiet both inside and out. Brandon, g'day, just speaking about you. You and that our Rex meeting has inspired JT and the Raw this week. So, 4 ways to build empathy within yourself. Number 1 is be quiet both on the inside and the outside. Sometimes for us to have empathy with our team and people is that we actually need to slow us down, to pull us back. We are so go, and particularly at the moment, we are thriving on chaos. We've got adrenaline pumping through our body. That because of that fight or flight response that's going through us, we're actually not pulling back, that we're not slowing down. So as a result, we find it difficult to be quiet and listen to our team, to listen to what is going on in their life. So the first tip to getting better at empathetic is being quiet ourselves. The second tip won't surprise you, and that is that we need to fully watch and listen, or listen and watch our team. Now, the beauty of the world that we currently live in is we are all using Zoom. We're either Zooming or we're FaceTiming, so we can actually see our see our team, see our people. And when we see people and have them talk, we can actually pick up what is going on from their body language. Body language gives us so much. The tonality of how our team is speaking will give us so much information. Remember, what is it? Body language is like 55%, tonality is like 28%, and 7% is the words. No, 65% is body language. 28% is how we say it, and 7% is actually what we say. So for us to show great empathy, we need to be listening carefully and we need to be watching our team. We need to also ask how we are feeling ourselves and be conscious of our own feelings. And number 4 is we need to test our instincts. I know that we have a lot of women watching, and I know there's not a lot of men watching today who have high instincts. I do not have a high instinct, I have to admit. But when I do have instincts, thanks Braxy, 55 body language, 38 tone, 7 words. So how we say things and how our body says things is almost more important, or not almost, definitely way more important than the words. Thanks Braxy for confirming that for me. But our instincts are really important. And sometimes we talk about a woman's intuition or a mother's intuition. And then we need to improve this. We need to work on this. Intuition for me is sitting down with your team on a Zoom call, and you can tell in that Zoom call whether people are engaged or are they not engaged. And if they're not engaged, your intuition or your instincts need to kick in. And that's when you pick up the phone and have a conversation with that team member one-on-one. Really, in the world that we're now living, things are changing. They're changing rapidly, and some of us don't cope well with change. Simple as that. And so we need to show empathy for the people that don't cope well with change. There are some people in the world that, while things are changing, they're not happy with having to use technology. They're not happy with having to work from home. We need to be empathetic about that. We need to have the ability to understand the feelings and emotions of others. In order to be a successful leader, empathy is a very important trait. More now than ever, we're going to be calling on that trait for us to get better as leaders. So I've got a challenge for you. Michael, David, Marissa, I'll see you shortly. I'll be jumping online today. Can't wait to catch up with you shortly. So I've got a little challenge for you today. And the challenge is actually the quote of the week. The quote of the week this week is, hold hands and walk with your team. Hold hands and walk with your team. Now, before you go out there and try and break social distancing rules wherever you are on the planet, I don't literally mean hold hands. I got this from a Rex member this morning, and he said that's what his goal is. And I love it. I thought it was awesome. So I want to share that with you today. Metaphorically, hold hands and walk with your team. This week, I want you to reach out to each and every team member. I want you to reach out and see if they're doing okay. I want you to have a conversation with them. I want you to try, before you have that conversation, I want you to try and walk a mile in their shoes. What might be happening in their life? I don't want you to be thinking, I don't want you to preempt anything, but I just want you to be thinking about what might be going on in their life. I want you to pick up the phone and I want you to call them. I want you to see if they're doing okay. Personally, relationship-wise, maybe financially, maybe even physically. Are they training? I had another conversation this week with somebody, and they told me that all of their staff gym owner, they said all of their staff had stopped exercising. I'm like, what the hell? You're still working in the fitness industry even though the gym's closed. Exercise is an important component of what we do. So I need you to sit down. I need you to walk a mile in your team members' shoes so that you can be more empathetic. I want you to hold hands this week and walk with your team. If you're up for that challenge, give me a love heart right now, or put in the comments, hold hands. I'm holding hands this week. Give me some sort of commitment that you are going to show some empathy for your team. And just make sure they're doing okay. Make sure that they're doing fine. In the comments below, or a love heart, whatever is easy. Thank you guys for those love hearts. I'm going to hold hands with one of my team members this week, with my team this week. What are you going to do? Jason, g'day. Frosty, he's in for holding hands this week. I love it. Love it. Susie's holding hands. Love it. Alyssa's holding hands. Colette is giving me a love heart. Thanks, everybody. This is up to you guys now to make a difference in the next 7 days with somebody you work with. One of your team. Make a difference by being empathetic to the situation they're in. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been tuned into JT and the Raw, show 194, I think it is, 194. If you got any value out of the show, as always, I would love you to hit the share button wherever it is, on whatever device you're watching. Hit the share button or tag anybody in the comments below that you think might benefit from watching today's show. Maybe you might know someone who should take on the challenge of holding hands and walking with your team this week. Remember, it's a metaphor because I don't want you to break social distancing rules. We want you to stay home, we want your hands washed, we want you to be clean, and we want social distancing. So metaphorically, hold hands and walk with your team this week. I hope you have an awesome week ahead. I hope you make a difference with each and every team member that you may work with. We are all in this together, but those that show greater empathy are in it with greater depth, greater vulnerability, greater care, and greater love. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been tuned in to JT in the Raw. I will catch you on the flip side.